Sorry, I'm muted this entire time. Thank you. No wonder everyone's going crazy in the chat and I didn't even see. Okay. Well, welcome. Now, hopefully you can all hear me. Oh my God. Yes. Okay. I'm going to start with the chat then, and then I'll talk about the globes starting over from scratch. This is what happens when you have a very busy lifestyle and you try to squeeze these in last minute. Tai Fung, I remember drinking wine and watching the globes with you and Max last year. It was a blast. I know you work more nights now, but I also missed most of the GGs this year myself. On to SAG. Yes, that was really fun. And I what I was I'm so like disoriented now because I was muted for the first 5 minutes of this. One of my things that I love about the Globes is that they all like get hammered at this show. It's always a hot mess because they have these huge tables with like the most expensive liquor and champagne, and they are just drinking the night away. And you see them, especially the presenters, as they come up throughout the night, be more progressively drunk. I'm looking at you, Kathy Bates. I saw that. But yeah, Nikki Glazer was like hilarious as a host, and we're going to talk about that momentarily. Also, with due respect to Jodie Foster, I have to say Kristen Milotti was robbed. I know we all wanted Kristen to win. I feel like though I wasn't shocked because Jodie won the Emmy for that show. And it's weird because the TV stuff is so late with the Globes, if you think about it, because the Emmys are in like September and then or even August, I feel like sometimes. And then like 6 months later, we're seeing the same people win awards. So shout out to Shogun. I'm glad they won a bunch of stuff. But yeah, I totally agree with that. And yes, Horsetooth Cinema, I 100% agree with you. We are going to talk about Amelia Perez, and yeah, the amount of awards is frightening. And I'm really hoping that there's not a chance it's going to win Best Picture because it's tracking like Green Book, and that scares me. Okay. Yes, thank you, Tales from the Shelf. I know now that I'm muted, and Max, my boyfriend, was calling me, so I knew something was wrong. And then I looked at my screen and realized that no one could hear me. So yes, hello, Luke. Thank you for stopping by. Oh my goodness, I hope people like came back that left, and hopefully know that now you can hear me. Toy Fanboy, thank you so much for stopping by. I know everyone's saying I'm muted. Yeah, exactly. Gunner, it's gonna be funny when she finds out she's been muted this whole time. Yes. Well, now we can get back into the actual show. So we'll see. Wilkies, so nice to see you here. We're talking about Globes and how crazy they were. So Nikki Glazer, I thought like totally brought her roasting skills to the Globes as a host. I thought she did a phenomenal job, especially compared to last year. That was rough last year. That was like the cringiest jokes of all time. She was fantastic. I loved her Joker 2 big joke that, before Joker 2 as a movie came out, I do think people kind of felt there could be some nominations there for Joker 2. And, her whole joke, once we saw the film, we were like, oh, there's no way, even though it doesn't matter how great the cinematography is. But she was like, oh, and where is the Joker 2 table? Oh, right, they're not here. And like, that was just so good. I got such a laugh out of that. There were so many other jokes that we'll get into. There was a Ben Affleck joke that was hilarious. But I'm going to bring up the winners and we'll kind of briefly go through. This isn't going to be a long stream. I got to leave around 1:15. So we're just going to kind of like bounce around through this. Tyler, nice to see you. All I know, Luca Guadagnino walked out of the ceremony like a total diva, curious how he'd act at the Oscars. Because the movie that he lost to is the most pandering movie to the LGBTQ trans community. Like it's insane. Like I know those are two different communities, obviously, but like it's horrible. Like so, I don't blame him. It's exactly like when Spike Lee walked out when Green Book won and Black Klansman didn't. And like, I get it. I mean, you probably shouldn't walk out and like throw a hissy fit, but I don't know. I can't really like blame him. Justin, nice to see you. Nikki's jokes were perfect. She was killing me, cracking me up the whole time. I'm gonna present the winners up here, and then we'll go through them a little bit. Okay. So hopefully we can all see this. And hopefully this doesn't make me lag a lot here. So we've got, Best Picture, wait, is this? No, here we are. Best Picture Drama. So I'm still like really late to the party when it comes to a lot of these, because I've just been so busy. But I am really, this is like an arrow. Oh, I see. What is this? Okay. I was like, what are these arrows? Okay, so we got to talk about how the Brutalist one. I think that's pretty awesome. Everything I've heard about is this like epic movie, like the ones you'd see from like the 60s, 70s. And it's 3.5 hours long with a 15-minute intermission. I can't wait to see this movie. I don't know if anyone in the chat has seen this, but I was not upset about this. I still haven't seen September 5 or Nickel Boys or A Complete Unknown. That's how far behind I am. But I'm fine with this win for sure. Best Picture, musical or comedy. Amelia Perez. I feel like I'm on a crazy train, and everyone else is like, I don't know. I feel like everyone that I know in the film community hates this movie, and people in the theater community hate this movie. I work with a lot of theater nerds, and they thought this was the most ridiculous movie they've ever seen. And the way they described it was kind of like the same unawareness of how to do a musical was like Joker 2. So I've heard the performances are really, really strong. But overall, as a film, it's just, it's pissing everyone off. The Latino community hates it. Trans community hates it. So I don't really understand why this is getting so much praise. So hopefully this is not what happens at the Oscars. I'm going to check the chat real quick to see what everyone is saying. Let's see here. Horsetooth Megalopolis is another movie that people were expecting to be an awards contender before people saw it. Absolutely. Yeah, we were kind of like, we know Francis is being a little cray-cray right now, but like, maybe we'll give him a shot. And then that did not happen at all. Tyler, yeah, I totally agree with you. Totally. And again, the Globes, like I'm telling you, like people get so drunk at these things. So it might have been more of like he was being an emotional drunk and left. So that might be why. You know, sometimes a hissy fit is justified. Yeah, sometimes, yeah. I can see both sides of the coin on that. Franco Walker, how's it going? Hello. Horsetooth, seeing The Brutalist sometime this weekend. Can't wait. Well, I can't wait to hear your thoughts because I'm so excited to see this movie. I still haven't seen Nosferatu. I still haven't seen Baby Girl. Like, I haven't seen A Complete Unknown. I'm so behind. And I hate it. And part of me just wants to go see Wicked again in the theater, which is I can't let that happen because I even though I want to, but I just don't have the time to do it. Okay, so let's get back to the winners. Let's skip over this because it's horrifying. I love that The Substance was nominated though. Like, great. I would have been happy with any other movie winning. And I wasn't even like the biggest fan of Honora, to be honest. I like Honora. I think it's a little overrated. I didn't feel anything for that character. I'm gonna make a short, I believe, as soon as possible, to discuss what things that I liked about Honora, but the things that I just felt like I totally did not connect to this character in any way. And then the ending, I felt absolutely nothing, which I should have been crying. Like that's an ending that like it could have had everyone in tears, and maybe for some people it did. I know people absolutely love this movie. But to me, like The Florida Project is Sean Baker's masterpiece. So let's continue. Yeah, there's nothing to say left about that. Flow. Okay, I know Tyler has seen Flow. Who else has seen Flow? And I didn't even know it was about a black cat. And I have to see this movie. I've heard nothing but good things. Let's see. Brutalist looks interesting. Yeah, definitely. I really want to see A Complete Unknown. Me too. I heard Chalamet like kills it. Next, Amelia Perez hits a nerve I can't put my finger on. Yeah, I know. Yeah, Franco, exactly. No one knows who Amelia Perez is for. This is like the first time I'm like, who is this movie for? I know there was a movie that came out recently. I feel like in the past year that no one knew who it was for either. And even that one, I could kind of see what they were trying to do. I don't even know with Amelia Perez. Tai Fung, I have a black cat and a tux. and a tuxedo. I feel like a bad cat dad for not knowing about Flo. Me too. Let's see here. Tyler, I know you saw it. Honestly, anything except Moana 2. Yo, yeah. Moana 2 is not getting an Oscar nomination. I will be shocked. I know it's Disney, but like they've got Inside Out too. So, and there's only 5. Like the Globes have 6 nominations and the Oscars have 5. There's no way Moana 2 is getting in here for sure. So glad to see Flo has found an audience that's getting bigger. Yeah, that's really awesome. I have to stream it, I guess, somewhere because I don't know if I'll have time to see it in the theater. Probably not at all. Memoir of a Snail, I can't wait to see. I've heard it's incredibly sad, but I've heard it's excellent. I love Wild Robot. I would be happy with Flo, Inside Out 2, or Wild Robot winning just because I haven't seen, Wallace and Gromit. I've heard it's quite good. But it's also really short, I think. So unless I'm wrong, but I thought that this movie was like incredibly short compared to all the other movies. So who knows? Best I can't. We're just gonna like skip over these. I can't see this poster. I can't see this name as a winner. I'm sorry. I hate being like a hater, and I'm not trying to be, but I can't. I really want to see All We Imagine Is Light. I have not seen that. I've heard great things about I'm Still Here. Seed of the Sacred Fig, I heard is fantastic. If any of you have seen any of these, I usually try to bang those out like the week before the Oscars, because I try to see it, I see every single thing that's nominated for Best Picture that like goes without saying. And then if there's like some acting categories that are big, I try to catch those. So the international ones, usually I try to squeeze in a few at the end there. This was the biggest shock. I've heard she's phenomenal. Fernanda Torres, I heard, is phenomenal in I'm Still Here. What a big surprise for her. I think a lot of people thought it was going to be, Nicole Kidman or Angelina Jolie. This was shocking. I'm very happy for her though, because I love when things like this happen. And that's kind of what this year is about, really. It's just great. It's not one movie taking over everything like Oppenheimer or Everything Everywhere All at Once. I love when it's a little piece goes to everyone and you don't know who's going to win, because when it starts to get obvious, it kind of just makes it a boring show to watch. Let's see here. D Marcel, how's it going? Yes, thank you for joining today. Embrace the dark side. Yeah, I'm not trying to be like, so negative on a movie. Like, it's still a piece of art at the end of the day. I think I just don't understand the nominations. If it wasn't getting nominations like everywhere about like everything, I wouldn't be upset. I really wouldn't be upset. Oh my God, Through the Lens. Thank you. Okay, we're not alone. I'm so annoyed that Amelia Perez won all those. I hate that movie. I know. And like the one award that it won that I was least upset about, which we'll get to, is supporting actress, which is on a different page. So, but we'll get there. But like Zoe Saldana, Danya, winning Best Supporting Actress, I wanted Ariana Grande to win so bad, and I thought she was going to, but then it gave it to her, Zoe. But I like Zoe's like work all of like overall over time. She's done a lot of great roles, but like I don't know. I can talk about why I hate that movie so much. Its politics are just so annoying to me. I mean, it's just it's an inauthentic viewpoint of something incredibly serious. So multiple things that are incredibly serious. And when you are just throwing something out there in a non-serious way, pretending like it is, then I think it people see the inauthenticity of what you're doing. So I it's just ridiculous. Adrian Brody, I was so happy for him to win. There was a joke that I don't even think I can say on YouTube that Nikki Glaser, if you guys can look at the jokes that were cut that Nikki Glaser couldn't say on TV, there was a joke about him and who he should thank, and it was actually very hilarious for his wins. But yeah, really happy that he's here. I still need to see Sing Sing. I think, you know, I've all kind of seen A24 not really campaign this movie enough, and I don't know its chances of what Oscars stuff it's going to get. A24 is doing this again. It's got too many eggs in too many baskets, and it's not focusing on like lifting them all up. It's just focusing on like one or two. So, you know, but I think Coleman will definitely get the best actor nominee. It's just for every other category, like Sing Sing, I think is just not, unless the Academy really does, like, you know, come together on this one, but which is, you know, it's a shame. Daniel Craig, I think, is now solidified for a Best Actor nomination as well, unless Sebastian Stan. I mean, I love that Sebastian Stan. We can talk about this too. I love that Sebastian Stan won for A Different Man. For that was a different category he was in, but like the one guy that no one wanted to talk to for the Actors on Actors because their PR people were too nervous because he portrayed Donald Trump. Like, come on, people. Like, we can talk about these things. It's not gonna like stuff like that just drives me absolutely crazy. I'm so happy for his win. We're gonna switch over here. This was clearly the best surprise and win of the night. Demi Moore. I don't know if you've seen The Substance. Some people probably might not be able to handle the goriness of The Substance, but you know, the body horror of it. I loved that movie. I think it is just phenomenal, and I thought she did such a great job. I mean, and her speech was so good. It was just like such an emotional moment. I was just so thrilled. And I don't know if you guys saw this, but like Carla Sofia Gascon, she seemed like kind of pissed off that she didn't win. I don't know if you guys saw this, but like I think because she thought, so I don't know. I don't know what she thought, but I think she thought she was the front runner, and clearly she wasn't. And I think that, you know, that's what happened there. Yeah, here we are. Sebastian Stan for A Different Man. This was fantastic. I'm just so happy for him and his career. I loved Hugh Grant getting nominated too. If you've seen Heretic, the film kind of falls apart a little bit towards the end there in the third act. But my goodness, for the first two acts, this man just is. It's just a wonder to watch him work on screen in a movie like this. It really, I can't highly recommend it enough. Let's see. I'd love to see Daniel Craig win for Queer. If he gets nominated for an Oscar, they need to play the full 5-minute shot of him doing heroin. I haven't seen it. I've heard it's kind of boring, and I've heard between Challengers and Queer that Challengers is a much better film, and I love Challengers. So, but I am absolutely, you know, always open to seeing Queer. Through the Lens, I'm so happy about Brody. That movie is perfect to me. He gives the performance of the decade, I'd say. Yeah, I that's what I keep hearing. So I'm really excited to see that. Is A24 outgrowing its bridges? I just feel like they need to really get a like a committee together in the company for next year, because they keep doing this. It's like what happened to Iron Claw last year. They don't know how to campaign properly, and because they were so focused on past lives, which I'm glad they were focused on past lives. But like, you know, this year, and the fact that Nicole Kidman did not get a SAG nomination for Baby Girl shows that they're dropping the ball on that too. So they have way more this year than they did last year. So I think it's like 4 movies that they're juggling, and things are really falling through the cracks with their films. I had my fingers crossed for Coleman. I mean, last year, because Sing Sing has been delayed a bunch of times, and then it didn't come out with a wide release and all that stuff. I remember hearing last award season that Coleman Domingo was like a shoo-in to win this year because of his performance, and it was like the best of the year, blah, blah, blah. And we're just not seeing that now. And I really think it's just because of how A24 has handled that film. Very cool that Demi won. I know. I'm so happy. Franco, yeah, it's so good, but like just keep in mind, like some people are incredibly grossed out by it. So if you can't handle it, it's totally fine. If you can handle it, you will love it. Let's see. Ravi and Sarana, a strong duo. Thanks for joining. RIP to the Wild Robot. Have we talked about Flo's win yet? We did, but I loved the Wild Robot. I still think it has a huge chance for the Oscars. I haven't seen Flo, but I've heard it's quite good. I have heard that the first two acts are stronger than the third. And then it has some pacing issues for Flow. So to me, the Wild Robot doesn't have any pacing issues at all. I'm thrilled that the Wild Robot is continuing to get nominated for Best Score because that score is absolutely beautiful. I don't think it's going to win, but I love that score so much. It really hit every emotional beat it needed to in the film. I'm pretty sure Ironclaw had quota requirements going against it anyways to be. I don't know about that because they're not as strict as you would think. There's a billion ways to get around that. But maybe you're right. Let's see. Hello David, thanks for joining. I was watching a movie, so I completely missed Golden Globes. That's okay. You can watch like a recap or something. There's a lot of people doing that on YouTube, for sure. The Wild Robot could still win an Oscar because the song might be performed. Yeah. The song's definitely going to be performed. That's a great song too. So the Oscars might give it to Wild Robot because we could see a performance of Kiss Sky. Yeah, I mean, they usually try to have every Best Song nominee perform their song. So we're not going to see. Do you guys think they're going to? They have to do like a Wicked performance, right? Even though like they can't get nominated for anything because they're not original songs written for the movie, so they're not qualified. They have to do something, right? I think that would be like crazy if they didn't. So hopefully we'll see a Wicked performance of some sort. But yeah, this was speaking of Wicked. This was my biggest disappointment. One of the biggest disappointments. I don't think people even realize how much like she nailed this character. If you've seen the show, it is so hard to kind of like you don't want to do a Kristen Chenoweth like impression, which she did pull some influences in, but she still made it her own. Her voice sounded incredible. So her comedic timing, oh my God, her comedy is so strong in this film. She had me dying. And then she also had me like emotional too, many times. So this was my biggest disappointment for especially for like I've heard she's amazing in The Brutalist. I've heard it's a very small role. I've heard like all of these are really small. I mean, yeah, I saw Conclave. Isabella Rossellini is incredible in it, but she's in the movie for like 20 seconds. Like she's barely in the movie. And then Margot Qualley, I think I'm happy she's there. Anything for the substance, I'm happy for. But it's not like an award-winning performance. It's not like Demi that that I can see way more. Selena Gomez, I love Selena Gomez. I've heard that because of the direction and whatever the reason that she's horrible in this. And so I heard like out of everyone, she's the weakest of the film. I love her in Only Murders in the Building. I've always been a fan of Selena Gomez. And so I'm just shocked. Like, so that's when like the direction has to be the reason. So yeah, enough about Amelia Perez because I don't want to talk about it anymore. But it'll probably come up because it's nominated for everything. Let's see here. We got Kieran Culkin, and we'll leave him up. I've got like 12, like 14 more minutes I can stay on. Let's see here. So we've got. I imagine they will do what they did with Les Mis for Wicked. Yeah. Okay. Great. Yeah, that's a great example. They have to do something because it'll be fun. Next year, however, Wicked will have a chance to be nominated for Best Song because they are adding like two. I hate when people say that the second act of Wicked only has one good song. There's more than that. Like I think people are just being hyperbolic. There's a couple that I really like, but it's just not as song heavy because typically in a show the second act is shorter than the first act, so they have time to kind of like add a number or two if they want to. And it's still the same guy, Steven Schwartz, is writing or has written. The movie's done, as we know. But so they'll have an opportunity there to get a best song nomination. Okay, yeah. I mean, I've heard she's great, but I just and anything. I don't want to keep just like hating on this movie, so I'm gonna just move on. To be fair, there's a few performances that have less than 5. I know. Oh, I know. Like Judi Dench in what was it? Judi Dench won. Was it Shakespeare in Love? I feel like it was. Judi Dench was like in the movie for 30 seconds or something like that, and she won Best Supporting Actress. Yeah, that definitely does happen for sure. Thank you so much, Franco. That's really kind of you. Um, yes, Selena is very bad in Amelia Perez. I love her in Spring Break. Yeah, I love Selena Gomez. So that's why I'm going to keep hearing that she's horrible in Amelia Perez. I'm like shocked. And I guess it just goes to show, what the film, the direction. Okay. We're going to move on. We all kind of knew this was going to happen. Guy Pearce not getting a SAG nomination is another thing. A24, you're dropping the ball on the SAGs for sure. Best director, Brady Corbett. I think everyone's very thrilled. I mean, it's apparently a 3.5-hour masterpiece. So give it to the guy. He seems really nice. I loved his speech. So happy to see Coralie here. And I think that there are certain cases when you're telling a story. Like, I don't think this applies to every type of movie, but I think a movie like The Substance had to be directed by a woman for many reasons. And I think she did like such an incredible job. So many Kubrick influences, Cronenberg, like so many things that she brought as kind of like a, brought these influences together in such a perfect way to tell this story, and I thought it was just phenomenal. And Sean Baker and Nora. I'm not gonna talk about Nora. I'll make a short about it soon, and you guys can find out why I don't love the movie. I don't hate Nora at all. I like it, but I think it's overrated. Yeah, Conclave, the script. I mean, that was a phenomenal script. So I'm very happy there. I think that's its strongest point too. I think everyone would kind of agree with that. The Conclave's big, like its win is going to be screenplay. It might for SAG win like an ensemble, but that's not really like a shoe-in. Like screenplay for Conclave is definitely a shoe-in. Best song. Best original score. Yeah, this score by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross is a total vibe. I really want to get it on vinyl. It just enhances the tension, the explosiveness of the final tennis match. Really great. I'm so happy that they won here. I loved the Wild Robot score so much. I think it's just absolutely beautiful. So that would have been my second choice. Conclave score and Brutalist score were both great too. I haven't seen the Brutalist obviously, but I have heard a lot of the score, and I really enjoyed those. Dune Part 2, like I love Hans Zimmer, but like you're just doing more Hans Zimmer. So I mean, it's not like memorable to me. I just hear the same stuff that was from the first movie, and I'll be surprised if he gets an Oscar nomination, but I mean, maybe he will. I mean, who would you guys take out? I guess Amelia Perez. I would like to, but I don't know how the Academy is going to vote. So yeah, I'm very happy with challengers winning best score. Let's get into the chat real quick, and then we're gonna like speed race through the last couple here. The Substance was a mind F for sure. Yeah, it was. It's a good movie about how Hollywood treats women. Absolutely. And our own insecurities and how we feel about ourselves. And as we age, a lot of the pressure we put on ourselves, and that was showcased really well. That whole scene where she like doesn't want to go on the date, which she should have, and she just stares at herself and she's like, I've had moments like that. I think every woman has had moments where they like get all dressed up to go out and then look at themselves in the mirror and then decide, you know what? Nope, I'm not going out. And it's just like a mental thing. It's so weird. We're very complicated. I think we all know that women are very complicated and we make weird choices like that, like feeling like we're not I don't know, like I'm not going to go enjoy like hanging out with my friends because I feel like I look weird, or like I don't know, we're very self-critical. I don't really do that anymore, but like in my 20s, I definitely used to do that. Now I'm fine. I'm much more confident in my mid 30s. So let's see. Yes, challenger score is very sexy. Horseshoe Cinema. As much as I love the score for Childers, I think their score for Queer might have been better. Okay, I still haven't seen Queer, so I have to. I'll listen to the score though. Franco, I mean, putting lead performances in supporting categories. Yeah, I mean that happens. That happens a lot. This is let's go to the next one here. This is the dumbest category ever. So we're not even going to do this. This is just to get like really like high profile celebrities to come. You know, I don't even, was Ryan Reynolds there? I don't even know if he was there, but I would think he would like to be there since it was his biggest movie and the biggest blockbuster. But that's the thing too. It's like cinematic and box office achievement. They do this now to the Oscars, and it's like, well, is it a cinematic achievement or is it a box office achievement? Because those are two completely different things, you know, because if it was a box office achievement, it would have been Inside Out 2 and then done deal, just like Barbie last year. So I think Wicked is a cinematic achievement in many ways, adapting something that's so beloved and has such a huge fan base and has been in the making for at least 15 years. So I think it's a cinematic achievement, but it's not a box office achievement. It's doing quite well here domestically. It's like number 3, but it's not as much overseas. But I think it's going to have kind of like the same thing that like Across the Spider-Verse, like what happened to that, where like it took the year for people. Well, Spider-Verse, I guess it was a couple years, but it grabbed such a huge international fan base as well, or domestic, you know, people that didn't know how great the first one was and they saw the first one and like, oh my God, I have to see the second one. So I think the box office for Wicked Part 2 is going to be gigantic compared or more at least. Now it's TV. Good. Well, we're not going to talk about TV. I did have some things written down though. So like, let me get my notes out and then we'll go back to the chat and then I got to run and go to work. Let's see. Oh yeah, when Zoe Saldana went up with everyone for best song for Amelia Perez, I don't think she was supposed to do that. And I think it was like, I know I saw people at the table like tell her to go, and then I think that the songwriter was like, "Oh, you're here." That was an interesting, you know, one. Oh, and I want to bring this up. You know, there's 2 examples here. Joker 2 was the worst example of a studio not giving directors notes, not enforcing any of their opinions of a film. Like Joker 2 is the worst example of that. However, there are 2 wonderful examples of when a director decides to go against the studio and find a better option to get their film made. And the 2 examples for this year are The Brutalist and The Substance. The story that was brought up with you know, Brady Corbet about The Brutalist and how it was very hard to get it funded because it was like, you know, no one really wanted to make a movie like that. You know, it goes to show you that like him winning and it winning best, you know, picture drama, you know, sometimes things that a studio doesn't realize could be a huge hit are. And that goes to Universal. Universal produced The Substance initially, and then they wanted Coralie to change the end and completely like get rid of how gory it was. And she was like, no. And so they're like, okay, well, like, we'll just like, you can have it distributed somewhere else or like produced somewhere else. And she wound up like that movie made really good money for its budget and is now getting all this awards recognition. So, you know, Universal saying no to Coralie and her being like, fine, I'm going to make sure that this gets seen the way it needs to be seen. You know, that's the best example. So it is tough with the studio. And I get where they're coming from when they do like make crazy mistakes, like letting Todd Phillips just run wild with Joker 2 with no plan like that. Like, I think maybe that's the key here. Both Brady Corbet and Coralie had strong visions and very well planned out films, whereas Todd Phillips was just winging it every day on set. And like a studio that didn't do anything about that, that's on them, you know, by far. I think I actually covered everything. Oh, did you guys see the Vin Diesel and Rock like interaction? That was very awkward and uncomfortable and weird, and it was definitely done on purpose. And then Vin Diesel was like trying to flex on all these auteur filmmakers he's worked with in the past, and he's like listing all of them, and I was like, did you work with these people? Because I don't remember any of this. And I need to like look at his IMDb because there must have been like smaller roles or like stuff I just didn't see, because the list he was talking about, I was like, you really worked with these incredible directors, because when did that happen? I'm not saying he's lying or anything. I just had no idea. But he was just doing this huge flex in front of The Rock. And it was very strange. Oh yeah, and did you guys see Sofia Vergara? This will come back to the oh my gosh. Her name is escaping me from Silence of the Lambs. We all know who she is, and I was just talking about her. Anyway, she won for True Detective, and Sofia Vergara is like drunk shouting at her like, "You won already! You've won already!" And I was like, "Oh my god, girl! Like maybe hold off a little bit more on the next time you have a drink." But it was like kind of awkward and weird. And yeah, I think I talked about everything actually. Yeah, I think I talked about everything. Again, the jokes were great. If you guys should watch, you can watch Nikki Glazer's opening monologue on YouTube. So funny. And if you are a fan of films, you will like. It's like one of the best roasts of films from a year I've seen in a while. So Tulsa King should win an award. I have not seen it. I know that show does have a very strong fan base. So yes, 2024 was a very weird year for many reasons. Sean Baker had to do that with Anora as well. The studio required it to be under 2 hours, and he knew that wasn't going to happen. Well, you know what? In this case, I think that the movie should have been shorter. I think that the last 15 minutes of that movie just dragged and dragged and dragged and dragged and dragged. Oh, I couldn't wait for it to be over at that point. And I know that it's an unpopular opinion. Everyone thinks that Anora is the most perfect movie they've ever seen. I don't. Okay, guys. Well, it's been great. I didn't even get a chance to talk about the SAG Awards. That's fine. There's some weird stuff going on there with the nominations. And I kind of did talk about how A24 is dropping the ball with the SAG Award nominations. But stay tuned for more award stuff. I am going to try to make a short as soon as possible so that people can understand where I'm coming from when I say that Anora is not the best movie ever made. Because I feel like every keeps streaming and people are like get mad at me about that. But there's many reasons why I feel that way. So yeah, SAG did muddy everything. I agree, by far a lot. Watch Amelia Perez win. Dude, this is haunting my nightmares. The thought of this happening is haunting my life right now, and I can't deal with it. So thank you all. Happy award season, and thank you for joining, and I will see you all next time.